Breaking the Wall of Inadequate Financial Liquidity. Dr. Shub Ganguly, the University of Auckland, New Zealand.
Across the world, a large number of people live paycheck to paycheck. And oftentimes they don't have enough money to even buy their basic necessities. In such hard times, they go to options like payday lenders or overdraw on their bank accounts. Now, while these kinds of short-term options, they alleviate some crunch in the short run, they oftentimes create bigger problems in the long run. And one thing leads to another, and thus continues the vicious cycle. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the wall of financial liquidity, inadequate financial liquidity, which affects low-income people. And to slightly change the title, I'm not thinking about breaking this wall. It's rather giving tools to scale the wall. That is the notion I'm using. And we are taking ideas from different disciplines, operations management and behavioral economics. Now, let's assume that any expense an individual makes, you can club this into these two buckets. So your monthly or weekly rent check, or the medical expense for the serious ailment that you have, God forbid you don't have, would constitute unavoidable, whereas the rock concert that you really like to go to, that is discretionary. Right? So a pertinent question is when to avoid discretionary expense. And let me tell you, we all understand that discretionary is also necessary in the longer run for well-being of a human being. So to say that never spend money on discretionary expenses is not going anywhere. So the question is, can we find out what are the right times or appropriate times to avoid discretionary expense, and can some guidelines, simple guidelines be offered? Now, thankfully, in inventory management, we have such research which says how with limited inventory, you can fulfill demand from different priority classes. What that essentially means is when you have enough inventory, sell to everybody. When you don't have enough inventory, make sure that you sell to your most precious customers. Right? So based on that, taking a leaf from that page, we can come up with a heuristic, a simple thumb rule, which would tell you that, okay, if your bank balance, depending on where in the pay cycle you are, is below a certain threshold, then please scale back on your expenses. Now, this can be given through a smartphone app or something like that. Now, while this would be helpful, would everybody react similarly to such an indication? No. Every individual is different. And we have examples where we have seen this data that some people really scale back when they are short, and some people simply postpone their expenses. So with a combination of behavioral lab experiments and using cash flow data, we plan to make a change, make a difference in the lives of these people.